Yeah, it'd be a pleasure to. We have a wide range of customers here, from doctors to lawyers, blue-collar workers, farmers, any kind of reference you want. We have email references from some customers, more than happy to talk to you that way, telephone references, and even written references that we have just over on our bulletin board over there. And you can also, a lot of them don't mind even talking to me by telephone. And on the other hand, if you get to a dealer that doesn't want to give you personal references, that's something to consider too, because if these people don't want to talk to you, then they're not satisfied with the service that they, or the sales that they got from the dealer you're dealing with.
Yes, we are a member of the OADA. We've been a longstanding member of that organization for many, many years now. They are an organization that is of a higher standard of compliance in the car industry. We've prided ourselves in being a part of this organization and basically doing things by the book. And if you go into a dealership and they're not a member, there's a reason for that. They don't want to comply to the rules, and it's something you should reconsider or at least take into consideration at the time of stepping into that dealership.
At Carleton Ford, when we are preparing a used vehicle, we do give it a thorough inspection. There is an inspection required by the Ministry of Transportation for a safety inspection, but we go one step further than that. We do a used vehicle condition report. A report that's for the ministry is not the same as a report that's for Carleton Ford.
Your credit score is something that belongs to you. It's a track record of your credit you've applied for, the inquiries, your repayment, how much credit you actually have. So it's a number that's all based on all those factors. If you fill out an application at Carleton Ford and we apply for credit for you, you have the right to see your credit score. You have the right to look at your credit bureau. If you have perfect credit, we can reward you with the 0%. So you get prime financing, something you should know yourself. If you have less than perfect credit, you've had problems in your past, a few little hiccups along the way, we'll still work with you to try and get you the best rate possible, and then we'll help you establish as well at the same time. So it's very important that you do see your credit score and your credit bureau, and so you know what's going on. If you go to a dealership and you fill out a credit app, they've run a bureau on you and you ask to see it and they don't want to show you your credit bureau or tell you what your score is, you should be very wary. You should always be able to see what you've applied for, see what your credit shows. That way you're on the same playing field as they are. And like I said, if they're not willing to show it to you, then you should get up and leave.
Well, the CSI is every time you purchase a new vehicle, you're going to get a questionnaire from Ford Canada. And they're going to ask you several different questions on what your service, how the service was from your salesman, what you thought of the dealership, how clean the dealership is, that sort of thing. And our CSI is quite high. Over the last 3 months, we're at 100% for recommended dealer, and we're at 94% for overall sales satisfaction. For the year, we're at about a 97% average for both. So I think that's pretty darn good. Now, a dealer that doesn't want to supply you with their CSI or service and customer service index probably has some things to hide, or not happy with their service index. Their customers aren't satisfied with their sales. They're not satisfied with their service end of things. The building isn't as clean as it should be. So that sort of thing you've got to watch out for too. So if you're to buy from a used car dealership, you have no governing body that's going to help you with surveys, because they're all independently owned. So you're not going to find out if their customers are satisfied. And if you do ask for references or anything like that, they're just going to tell you who their happy customers are and not their dissatisfied customers.
Absolutely not. You do not need a deposit to check out inventory here at Carleton Ford. What we do here is that we have access to over tens of thousands of vehicles that we can choose and look at online through many different avenues. We can go through Ford sanctioned auctions. We also have access to other dealerships, and it absolutely costs you nothing to do that. So we can do that without even having to sign a bill of sale. If you go into a dealership and they're asking you to fill out a bill of sale and ask for a deposit, that is not necessary at all. If that was the case, I would have to reconsider what you're doing in that situation and maybe take a moment to step out and realize that this is not necessary. Not at all.
If you buy from Carleton Ford, we're not your big city dealer. When you buy from us, you become more so of a family, and we treat you like a family. You get to know us like on a basis, and it's just a small, cute, content little dealership.
Absolutely, take all the time you need. Here at Carleton Ford, we are no pressure, no hassle sales. Go home and talk over with your spouse. Again, take all the time you need, no pressure. And again, if you walk into a dealership and you don't like what you have to say, just walk away.
Okay, so here's just a quick recap of what we've just covered. So we're going to go over them really quickly. Number one, the first question that's very important, can you provide me with references of past customers? You know, if they can't do that, if you don't have references that you have access to, you may want to leave that situation, and because I mean it's that important. Here at Carleton Ford, I have a ton of references we'll show you all the time, and you'll see some on our site as well with the testimonials and this type of thing. Number two question, are you a member of the OADA, the Ontario Automobile Dealers Association? Again, if they're not members of that association, you have to ask yourself why not, because they have a strict code of ethics that they need to follow in order to become a member of the OADA. And we sure are, we have been for over 20 years, and that's how confident we are with this one. Number three, what is your preparation process or acquisition process for pre-owned? What do they do to the vehicles once they get them? First of all, do they check them for accident repairs? Do they check, how do they clean them? What's the process that they have in place? Do they just take them, rinse them off, put them on the lot, then you go and drive them? You need to know that in order to make a good judgment call on whether or not it's the right vehicle. Number four, what is my credit score? I'll tell you something. If you fill out an application at a dealership, you have a right to know your credit score because they will pull your credit. That's a very important question, and you need to know because this will determine the type of interest you will be paying. So again, if you don't know, if they don't tell you your credit score, you may think, well, geez, my credit's not that great, that's why I'm paying a higher interest. But you know what? If you have a high enough beacon score, you're going to get the lowest interest possible. Here at Carleton Ford, we guarantee that. When you leave, you're going to have the lowest possible score, or the lowest possible interest rate that you qualify for. Number five, what is your customer satisfaction index in sales and service? Again, here at Carleton Ford, we have 96% year to date. You need to know that. You need to know what kind of dealership you're dealing with. You need to ask the question. Number six, do I need a deposit to check out inventory? Do I need to give money down in order for you to go and check to see if this vehicle is available? Absolutely not. You know what? I will gladly look for a vehicle for you because I know it means business, and they should too. So that's a very important one. All right, number seven, why should I buy from you? Because I'll tell you, I want to sell you a car. I want to sell your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your son, your daughter, which we have been doing for 25 years, selling generations over generation of vehicles in the same families, and that just expands to others, and that's why you want to buy from us. Can I think about it? Number eight, can I think about it? Of course you can think about it. Take the time you need to think about it. As a matter of fact, I strongly urge you do. Leave the dealership, go home, think about it, because you don't know what may come up during a discussion with you and your wife or your spouse or your partner. I mean, you need to think about it. So don't ever be pressured into signing on a dotted line when you don't feel comfortable doing so.